neocolonialism is killing Africa. There's 3 reasons why Africa can't stand because of the so-called investment, which is nothing but neocolonialism. Number 1, when the World Bank and the IMF, Britain, France, Belgium, America, when they loan African states this money, particularly the IMF and World Bank, which are both United States-based institutions, they make 3 things a requirement. Number 1, the interest rate. Most African countries are in debt because they have to spend so much of their gross national product servicing the debt. They're not even knocking off the principal. They're servicing the debt, the interest. They're not even touching the principal. So the debt is not going away. It's getting bigger, and still you're spending 30, 40, 50, 60% of your GNP financing the debt. So that's number 1. They make sure the interest is so high, you'll never pay it back. They give you the loan with the expressed intent of putting you into financial slavery, and we keep on taking the damn money. I'm going to come back to that in a sec. So number 1 is the interest. Number 2, it's the family planning strategies that they make you sign off on. So in order to get this money, you got to push homosexuality. You got to push birth control, hysterectomy, all of this other stuff, right? So they disrupt.
It's documented, this type of.
Oh, yeah. This ain't no secret. Go do your research. And the third thing that they do is open economy, open market. You got to have a free market economy. This is probably the biggest problem. When you take money from the World Bank and IMF, you cannot protect your indigenous market. So, for example, if I'm in Senegal and I got salt, I'm in Cameroon and I got palm oil, I'm in Nigeria, and I got cola nut, just for an example, and I export this to the world, right? I'm in Benin and I got tea. So because I got my own tea, I don't want Tetley coming in here. I don't want Lipton coming in here. I don't want Starbucks coming in here. Because I got my all salt, I don't want no European salt companies coming in here. Because we got our own salt, we're going to protect this market to make sure we have some economy and make sure we can hire our own people. But the white man says you cannot do that. If I give you this loan, even though you got your own chicken market, guess what? You got to let the British chicken companies come in and sell their chicken. You got to let the French chicken companies come in. You got to let the American. Well, if they come in and sell, they're competing against me in my own country. They can produce the product faster. They can get it here quicker. And most of all, they can do what? Sell it cheaper. So you know what happens after about 5 years? What happens? My chicken market gets sabotaged by the competition. My salt market gets sabotaged by the competition. My tea market gets sabotaged by the competition. That's why you have African countries importing goods that they can grow. Why am I importing salt if I can grow salt? Why am I importing chickens when I had my own poultry farm? It's because the white man made you compete with his companies in your country, and they sabotaged your market. They want Africa completely dependent on white folks because it's the only way they can continue to exploit. Here's the other problem. African leadership. We have a crisis in African leadership. We have a crisis in unapologetic black male African leadership. African leaders, many of them are lazy. And this is not just the continent. This is the entire diaspora. It goes for America. It goes for Central South America. It goes for the Caribbean, everywhere. Black men are more about power, ego, and money than they are about transforming the conditions under which our people live. The reason why they keep on taking money, knowing because it's going to put the people further in debt, is because they want an easy presidency. I know if I take this money, it's going to put my country even more in debt. But guess what? I want to be able to brag that I opened up that hospital. I want to be able to brag I got the new roads done. I want to be able to brag we built a new university, right? So it looks like I was a good president because I built 10 institutions. But what you're not looking at is the long-term fallout from this. Because I took this loan money, I just put my country further in debt. Now, here's in defense of them, though. If they don't do that, a rival opposition party is going to rise up. And they're going to miseducate the people and say, this guy's a horrible president. We're struggling, poverty. They don't understand that he's doing this the hard way because he don't want to put his country further in debt. And because most African leaders are afraid of that opposition and how they can be made to look like they're ineffective by making the people work from within as opposed to taking this foreign aid from without, they succumb to the loans. And they say, well, you know what? I didn't want to do it, but my people would have put me out of office if I don't do it. So Dr. Umar, I went ahead and took the $50 million in loans because the people want some comfort now. They want some ease now. They want some relief now. So we as African people are suffering from this epidemic where we don't want self-determination as the road to liberation. We want to keep on sucking the white man's titty until we die on it, as opposed to cutting off the outside aid and building from within. It's going to be hard. It's going to be rough, but you can do it. How did China become the world superpower today? Because Mao Zedong said, we ain't taking nothing else from the world. Mao Zedong sent his children all over the world to find out how people do what they do. And Mao Zedong said, we're not going to compete with what they make. We ain't going to compete with the automobile. We're not going to compete with the laptop. We're not going to compete with nothing the white man makes. We're just going to bootleg it. And we're going to make it cheaper. And so now China is the Walmart of the planet Earth. Here's what China did that was so brilliant. And I'm no Chinese fan or anything, but I recognize genius when I see it. China says, since the white man operates on capitalism, producing things cheap, selling them high, we're going to operate on socialism. We're going to produce things cheap and sell them cheap, because 2/3 of the world lives on less than $1 a day. Most poor people can't buy the stuff America make. They can't buy what the UK make. But so you know what we're going to do? We're going to become the dollar store. We're going to become the Walmart of the planet Earth. We're going to specialize in cheap food, cheap clothes, cheap household goods. And so 2/3 of the world is dependent on China for what they need. America couldn't destroy China's economy if they wanted to, because China is underselling the world.
Yeah.